Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and this is just a really quick follow-up video on the NESA little 5-inch monitor here. And as you can see, I've actually got a colour-locked stable picture coming off this Spectrum here now. Basically what I've done, I've been playing with various little video amplifiers and all sorts trying to get this working. And all it actually turned out to be is it's very picky about the impedance it gets this monitor. What I've got here basically is a couple of 75 ohm resistors in a little, well, you can see what I've done right here. Basically two 75 ohm resistors. We've got the signal coming from the Spectrum between the two. So it's basically a potential divider. You've got 175 ohm goes between the input signal and ground, and then you've got another one going between there and the output signal, and the two grounds are connected together there. And basically that's done it for this Spectrum. It's not the best of images, probably because I've got all this, it's not shielded very well, and that Specky doesn't give the cleanest of composite signals out, because I've still got to do a little bit of work inside it. But as you can see, it does actually produce a locked, stable, actual colour signal off that monitor now. Prior to that, I did try it with an old Sony PlayStation, and it gave an absolutely fantastic picture on the Sony PlayStation. And I can report, I can now get a picture on my ZX81 out of it, and that's where I do have an issue though. I'll show you what it's doing with the ZX81 up it. So let's just switch that off there. We'll disconnect it from the Specky and we'll plug it into this ZD here. We'll unplug the Specky power supply, we'll plug the ZD power supply in, switch on, and I don't know, can you see that on the monitor there? Yeah, get you a little bit closer. As you can see, in fact, let me just switch the Specky off, the ZD off, and then switch it back on so you can see. As you can see, we have the K cursor down there, but we've got a problem as well. Let me just see if I can put a little bit of text on the screen so you can actually see it's doing something. Basically, I'm just see if I can. Oh, you can see what it's doing now. Can you see how the screen's actually fading out? I can't get anything on screen just now. I was just trying to get it to say start, but you see how it's faded to black. Now, if I unplug the ZD and plug the ZD back in again, it comes back on, and it's not the video signal. I've had it do this and connected it up to the big screen there, and I was still getting an absolutely perfect video signal out of the ZD. As you can see again, you'll just watch it and it'll just, over 30 seconds, it'll just slowly fade out. There, we've got something on screen for you to look at now, not very much, but as you can see, it's faded out. Now, you saw before I disconnected the power from it. This time I'll disconnect the video from it. So if you just watch here, all I'll do is just disconnect the video like that, reconnect the video, and as you can see, it's back again. Now if we wait again, you'll see what will happen. And it seems to take varying amounts of time, this. I'm not actually sure what's going on, but as you can see, it is quite slow, but it will just slowly fade out. And it's still displaying. I can still see it there, but only very faintly. And again, if I switch the monitor off, I'll use the remote control. Interesting thing I found about this remote control. How, I don't know, but this TV I've got up there, which I've never had a remote for, this actually, if you can see, it actually powers this TV up. I can adjust the volume, I can I can adjust the channels, I can adjust the volume, all using the remote control that come with this little NESA TV. It does make it a bit of a pain in the backside when I'm working with them both on the both on here, but though, because I try and change one and it changes the other. But like I say, I can switch it off and on with this, and it does exactly the same thing. It's just been off then, and it will, once it comes back on, it will just slowly fade out. And it only seems to do that with the Spectrum up it. I haven't seen it do it. Well, sorry, with the ZX81 up it. I've not seen it do it with anything else I've tried using with this thing. It's most odd indeed. And sometimes it seems to stay on for longer than others. When you've switched it off and on with the remote control, it seems to stay on for a little bit longer, but eventually it will just fade out on its own again. Let's see if it'll do it another time now. Well, it'll be the first time it'll actually stay on now, won't it? But I'm honestly not sure what's actually causing that. It's staying on now. This is most odd. No, it's starting to fade. It's starting to fade now. And there we go, it's faded out again. I'm wondering if it's a safety feature of the monitor that it doesn't. This is quite an old LCD, and I wonder if it's some kind of screen burn protection or something like that. That if it's showing a bright white screen for too much time, a prolonged amount of time, it will slowly back the brightness off. Because I can actually still see. It's definitely there. It's actually showing what I typed in. It's just it's very faint. So what I was wondering is whether I can perhaps build a video inverter. As this is a black and white, it's a mono computer, the ZX81, it only shows black and white. Why does it have to show... I'll switch that back on. Seeing it's back up to working. Why does it have to show black text on a white background? Why can't we have it showing white text on a black background? And for what I'm going to use it for, that would be absolutely fine. So I may try building a little video inverter circuit, so I can invert the video on it and have white text on a black background, and see if this monitor will actually work more happy with that. Because like I said, it's a most odd. I've never come across that before, where it works with every other computer absolutely fine. Probably because there's more content on the screen. I don't honestly know. Let's just plug this specky board in, and let's see how it behaves with this. This board it actually did work quite nicely with. So, yeah. Let's just watch this fade out one more time here. There it is. It's fading out again. And I'm not going to disconnect it. I'm just going to disconnect the video from it. I'm going to get the ZE out of the way. Where's my ZE's anti-static bag? There it is. I always keep them in these when I'm not playing with them. So that can go back in this anti-static bag. Ooh, heatsink on that's red hot. Let's bring my my test specky board in. We'll connect this up, and we'll just see if the same thing happens with this specky board. Because it's showing, well, it's showing slightly less white than the ZE will, obviously, because it's got more on screen, but it's not by a great deal. So let's have a quick look with this one. Plug that in there. Let's plug that in there. And you see that's powered up okay. I wonder if possibly whether this one's going to be alright, because obviously we've got more text on screen. But it'd be interesting to see if I leave this switched on for a minute, whether this is going to fade out as well, because it's mostly a white screen. Like I said, not quite as much as on the old ZE, but it's still got a lot of white on it. Most odd anyway. Like I said, I possibly will have a look at doing a building a little video inverter circuit and making the ZEDI so it has white text on a black background rather than black on a white background. That doesn't seem as though it's fading. We'll just give it a minute or two, but that honestly doesn't look like it's fading like the ZEDI did. So I wonder if it is because there's more black being used. It'd be a bit of a daft way of doing it, that, but that doesn't appear to be fading. No, that doesn't appear to be fading at all. Most odd. I think really to show this monitor at its best, I'll just as a very last thing before I finish this video, I'll just connect this old PlayStation up to it, and we'll. No, that's seems to be saying quite solid with the specky board of it. I'm not going to run this board for too long because it doesn't have a heatsink on its 7805, this test specky, so I'll switch it off at that. But it's definitely been on for as long as some of the we run the ZEDI and it faded out, so I'll switch that off, unplug that, and that can go back in its that can go back where it lives. I'll just plug this this old PlayStation in. Plug that in. Obviously we won't have any audio obviously, but I'll show you what it looks like running with the PlayStation on it. Looking at the PlayStation up, switch that on. Oh, it helps us switch that on. There we go. Let's see what we get out of the PlayStation. And there, as we can see, it does give a really nice, quite a nice image with the PlayStation running on it. A little bit of band in there. We can go through some of the options. That looks quite good. But yeah, like I say, it seems to work absolutely absolutely fine. I think that game's crashed. I don't think that's working. Let's try it again. Give it a reset. So it's just perched on top of that Spectrum, but like I said, the screen works quite nicely. It just seems to have issues with that ZEDI, which is a bit of a pain because that's the whole thing I bought it for. But possibly if I can build that little video inverter, we can still use it. I did try building a little video amplifier for it, and basically it just overdrove the signal. It was too much signal there for the screen. It whited it out. Same when I tried a little video amplifier. A bit more powerful, a bit cleaner video amplifier than when I showed last time with the specky. It made it better, but not as good as just what I've done there. I said that's what's really cured it. It's made the it usable with that Spectrum. The only thing that it's not fully fixed is the issue with the ZX81. But like I said, we certainly have made some progress, and we certainly have actually got this screen usable. So I thought I'd update that, seeing I've made a little bit of progress with it. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.